If you edit in Premiere Pro, this video is for you. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm gonna go over 5 Premiere Pro tips or tricks that I use on a daily basis. I've done these videos in the past and they're always really well received, so today I'm gonna go over 5 new tips that I haven't covered in previous videos. These tips are all about increasing your productivity and making you more efficient to save time and just get more done. So without further ado, let's hop right in. All right, so once you've hopped into Premiere Pro, the first trick we're gonna talk about today is auto masking. Now, auto masking is basically auto rotoscoping. Rotoscoping has been available in all the other major editing platforms like Davinci, After Effects, obviously, and it's just recently been added to Premiere Pro from 2026, I believe. I think it's been in the beta for a while now. Auto masking or rotoscoping is really nice because all you have to do is just duplicate your clip like this. I'm just holding out Option as I click and select here to duplicate my clip here, and this is me just of a talking head sequence. Once you've got your clip duplicated, what you're gonna go do is go down here to Object Mask Tool. And once you've done the Object Mask Tool, you're gonna notice that as you hover over different things in your scene, you're gonna have a red outline of your different objects here. The more distinct that your subject is from your background, the easier it is to rotoscope. So in this scene, I have myself here sitting and there's a clear kind of boundary between myself and the background. Premiere Pro does a pretty good job of auto rotoscoping and auto noticing the actual subjects. So what I'll do here is I'll just click and kind of draw on my subject and what I want to actually mask. And as you notice here, my microphone isn't automatically selected. So if I want to add objects, I just kind of draw on the area that I'd like to actually include into my auto masking here. It doesn't have to be perfect because once you start actually tracking this, it'll do a better job. So once you've got a general selection of your object, you go down here and you'll track backwards and forwards and just let it do its thing. And overall, it does a pretty good job. In this specific scenario here, obviously I have my microphone arm stand, which is kind of blocking myself. So it's a little bit difficult to add in this mask. You could go in and manually add a mask, or you could do different things. But for the purpose of this, I just want to mask myself out so I can put a little bit of text behind myself. So for my purposes, this is more than enough. In my actual feather here, if you go down here, you can actually adjust and decrease the feather. If you'd like to go in and subtract different areas, you just hold down Option. And then as you can see here, I have a little minus next to my lasso and I can remove things. But once you've got your object tracked, the next thing you're gonna do is go down to your unassigned object masks and you're gonna click and drag this and bring this to the actual opacity section. So once you've done that, the mask only applies to the opacity here, and now you can get creative. Now you can layer this on top of your original footage. So now I can get creative. I can put the word client behind me, for example. I can put it in between my actual mask layer and my original layer. I mean, I'm sure you know how to use rotoscoping and how to get creative with it, but this is just to show that in Premiere Pro now, it's a lot easier to do rotoscoping, and you can go in and adjust the feather afterwards. If you can notice the edges here, now that looks a little bit better. It's not perfect. It's not amazing. If you really want to do in-depth rotoscoping, I'd recommend going to After Effects, but for general things, especially for social work, I think this is a great tool. And the auto object removal, I think it's called the object mask tool, is finally in Premiere Pro, and it's a great nifty trick. Up next, I want to talk about scene edit detection. So scene edit detection is something to use every single project, and it's something that I don't see a lot of people talking about. I've actually talked about scene edit detection before in my previous video where I talked about going between Premiere Pro and Davinci Resolve. But what scene edit detection does is it automatically cuts your video up. And how is this useful? Well, let's say you have a longer talking head that you've graded, or you just have a longer clip that has a lot of cuts in between. It could be a video you've downloaded from YouTube, or it's something that automatically has different sections that have been cut. Sometimes I'll have like reels that I've downloaded that I want to use the audio for, or different things, and you just want to make sure that the cuts sync with the audio. And there's a whole bunch of scenarios where you'd want to auto cut your video. And this means instead of going in and manually cutting each of the separate videos, that it would automatically do it for you. So all you have to do is go into, I think it's clip, and then if you go down to scene edit detection, it'll automatically detect scene changes in a flattened footage and then also apply a cut at each detected cut point. You can also create a bin of your subclips. You can create markers at each of the cuts, but usually what I do is I just have apply a cut, and this just chops it up automatically for you. So you click analyze, and once this finishes up, you'll notice that you now have a section of cuts at each distinct video. And this is really useful if you want to quickly go ahead and chop up your A-roll, or you've got a nested clip that you want to recut, or again, if you have these reels or videos that you want to use kind of trending audio for social media, you can go in, even if you go in here and just right click it, you can go to scene edit detection this way, do the same thing, and it'll automatically chop up your video. And then you can layer on your own video on top for matching beats, and it's just a really useful tool. The way that I use this all the time is when I go from Premiere Pro to Davinci Resolve, I'll go in and export an entire sequence in high quality HQ, ProRes 422, and then I'll take that high quality video file and I'll go into Davinci Resolve and I'll actually chop it up, color grade everything, and I'll bring it back to Premiere Pro. When I bring it back to Premiere Pro, I'll use scene edit detection to re-chop up my footage. That way I know specific markers, I can go ahead and adjust different clip sizes. It's just a really useful tool, and it's something that is a little underrated and not talked about enough. Next up is a tool that I use all the time for cutting A-roll and for cutting just talking headshots and all that stuff for social media and also for this YouTube channel. You can use it for interviews and stuff. It's text-based editing. I'm sure you've heard of it before, you might even know about it, but text-based editing is a game changer. And to utilize text-based editing, all you have to do is go in, and right here I have a talking head A-roll clip that I use all the time. So when you go ahead and record these things for YouTube or for social media, you go in, you'll talk, but then you'll make a lot of mistakes. You want to go back and edit out your ums, your uhs, your likes, your pauses. And instead of doing this manually, if you just notice here, let me just make this a little bit bigger here. You'll notice that there's a bunch of pauses between when I'm talking, and I just want to chop everything up really quickly. All you have to do is go into the text panel here. When you go ahead and select your item, you're going to see that it's untranscribed. You want to transcribe your clip here. And that'll just take a little bit. And once you've transcribed your clip, you're gonna notice that your entire transcript here is available to see. And not only that, you can go in and select different sections of your clip and it'll just automatically go to where that point is in your timeline. So the most powerful way to use this is if you wanna get rid of all of your pauses in your A-roll, you're gonna go up here to your cylinder, you're gonna go ahead and select pauses. You can do a bunch of different things. You can select filler words, censor words, you can do custom word searches, but I'm gonna go ahead and click pauses. And once I've clicked pauses, I'm gonna click delete. And you can delete one, or I'm just gonna delete all of them. And now that I've deleted all of them, as you'll notice, it's deleted all of the pauses in between all of my clips in my A-roll, which is super handy and saves you so much time. You could go in and see when your last take is, for example. Usually when you're recording these kind of things, you'll just take the last take and your best take, and then you'll move on. So this is a quick way to see, which one of your takes is the last take, which indicates when it's the best take. And you can go ahead and kind of highlight that and delete everything before it. And it's just a really easy way to go ahead and identify your pauses, get rid of your pauses, and then identify your best takes and just go through, chop up your A-roll. It saves you so many hours. So text-based editing, I think, is a huge game changer. And it's a really easy way to cut up your A-roll, your talking head segments, and honestly, it just saves you so much time. Before hopping to the next tip, let me take a quick second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Higgsfield. Higgsfield is an all-in-one platform for creators, and they recently released the new Cinema Studio 2. Cinema Studio 2 is a pretty amazing tool. It allows you to step inside 3D scenes and control every shot and craft cinematic sequences. It's pretty similar to the first Cinema Studio and allows you to create images and videos based on descriptions. You can be as detailed as you like, and my favorite part is it allows you to select the camera body, lens focal length, and aperture to really fine-tune what you're creating. For this example, I've generated a few different thumbnail options that I used in a recent video. The amazing thing is, once you've found one that you like, you can then create a 3D scene. And once you've created a 3D scene, you can then go ahead and physically move the camera around and rearrange and reframe your shot so it's exactly as you like. This is a really powerful tool, and there are a load of different ways you can use this in your next creative project. If you're interested in trying out Cinema Studio 2 or any of the other tools on Higgsfield, make sure to click the link down in the description below. And big thanks to Higgsfield for sponsoring today's video. Next up is something I didn't know about until relatively recently, and it's something that's super useful if you're working with clips that are reused in a segment, whether that be in this case here, I've got an A-roll section that goes across my entire timeline here. What I'm talking about is master clip settings. Now, master clip settings, it sounds pretty cool, and it's actually really simple. All it does is, instead of applying effects to the same source clip across your entire video, so say, for example, for this video, I have a bunch of different sections of the same clip, and the same clip is just me talking. This is my A-roll section. And let's say I want to apply a LUT to this specific clip, but then traditionally I would either apply to an adjustment layer and then stretch across everything, or I'd have to copy and paste those settings to the same clip multiple times over. Master clip settings is interesting. Over here on the left, you'll notice that there's a source clip, and I haven't really noticed this, but if you go ahead and click source clip, it'll be blank, and this is affecting the original clip. Now, if I went in here and I just added, let's add a lumetri color here, And base correction, let me just browse. Hopefully I have a LUT that I can add. Okay, let's go ahead and say I added a LUT to the source clip. Now, instead of having to add this to every single one of the clips here, now automatically that source LUT has been added to every single clip across my project, and I don't have to add it to every single time this clip shows up in my project, which is really, really useful, and it saves you a lot of time. If you want to change this anytime, you can go in and change the actual source clip adjustments here. But in terms of, let's say you want to add obviously like a LUT to the same clip so that it shows up every single time in a video, it's really easy to do here. You could add different effects, you could add Gaussian blurs, you could add any amount of effects to a single source clip and it'll show up across your entire timeline, which is really useful, and it's a really quick way to color grade clips like talking head stuff, and also just apply batch things that you would have to add over and over again on adjustment layers and different things like that. It's just a really simple way to add these effects. The final little tidbit here and trick in Premiere Pro are workspaces. Now, I don't see workspaces being talked about enough, and workspaces basically are a really simple way to organize your different panels. Everything you see here, you can click and drag and completely customize how you work, and having different templates and ways that you work basically to your monitor. It really matters how big your monitor is, how you have that set up, but more so, it depends on the type of media that you're working on. So I have two separate workspaces that I always work on. The first, if you just go up here to Windows and Workspaces, the first I have is YouTube. Now YouTube primarily is because I've got this horizontal talking head shot. I want enough real estate on my overall screen to be able to see the source, the YouTube clips here. In the bottom left here, I have my effect controls, which I always use. And I've also got a media browser, but typically I just have effect controls, and I've got all of my tools here. Then I've got my large timeline right here. And then I've just adjusted here where I've got my lumetri color and properties, more importantly, in the top right. And I've got my effects in the bottom right here. Once you've got a workspace that really works for you, then all you have to do is go to Workspaces, and you can go ahead and save as a new workspace. You just go ahead and save it as whatever. You can call this, Workspace 2, and then you could press OK. And then it'll live in this Workspace tab. But for horizontal, obviously I've got this, but for vertical, I've saved it as Reels. And here's my workspace for Reels. And as you can see here, the difference is the actual video box is vertical. So I've got more real estate here for the vertical component. Instead of being in top left, I've got it in the middle here. I've got my project files here. I've got my tools, and then I've got my effect controls in the top left here, which are something that you probably use all the time. And then I've got my timeline and the same properties and effects over here. And so this is how I've got my social media set up. I've got obviously the YouTube set up. There's a bunch of different default workspaces that, they're not bad, but I highly recommend that you go ahead and customize your workspace. And once you've customized it, you just save it, because then you can switch in between what you're working on, and it's just a lot easier to navigate, and it just saves you a lot of time. These little hacks are pivotal when you're trying to save a lot of time. And those are 5 tips that I use on a daily basis in my Premiere Pro workflow. If you have any questions on any of these tips or tricks I covered today, please leave them down in the comments below. Or if you have any other tips or tricks that I haven't covered, please leave them down below. I think everybody in the community would really appreciate that. As always, if you enjoy my color grade, my sound design, my presets, my animations, they'll be all linked down below in my shop. It's a huge help to the channel. Make sure to check it out. And if you're still watching, leave the word pro down below in the comments so that I know you made it to the end of the video and you're a real one. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next one.